2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
2NURFM 103.7. He's back joining us again for another week from the School of Maths and Physical Sciences, Professor John O'Connor. John, an interesting article coming out last week that the French have made a decision. They've got this forward idea that by 2040 they won't be producing any more petrol or diesel cars. It's electric all the way, so it would seem. Is this long-term thinking, or is this something that'll just come and go? What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting because there's a major movement in this area, both locally and nationally and internationally. Locally, we've seen the Tom Farrell Institute run the electric vehicle competition for a number of years. They really had the foresight there. But internationally, there are predictions. And the driving force here, let's get back to why we're talking about this. About a quarter of the energy that's consumed in a Western country goes to electricity, into houses and so forth. About a quarter to a third goes into transport. So while you're trying to cut back the amount of electricity that's being used in houses or trying to get it from alternative sources, you've got to do the same thing for transport. And it's not easy because petrol's such a good fuel. So it's really risen because the improvement in batteries, the battery technology really is ramping up, and they're developing new, better batteries all the time. So there's a prediction, always with these things, they look forward to 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And the Bloomberg New Energy Finance Group did a survey internationally, and their prediction was that by 2040, more than half the cars produced will be electric. You see Volvo have a prediction that by 2019, that's just around the corner, they will be electric or hybrid. And so, yes, there's a lot of movement out there, and the question is, how do you do this? Well, not only do you change to electric, but you can't change to electric and still rely on coal. Now, France has really put it out there, but there are a large number of other European countries which have got similar sorts of goals. And so the goal is to get out there and first come up with alternative forms of energy that then feed in to these vehicles.
I think the trick is also to make it as affordable as we can, because people will be on board with these things if they can see there's firstly a benefit. So if you've got an electric car at the moment and you do a lot of kilometres in your driving, there is a cost benefit to you straight away, so you're okay. But I guess at the moment, for the average person that only drives a little bit to work, maybe a bit of shopping and not, immediately they can't see it. So they've got to get a way of making it cost effective to get out there.
Yeah, there's a chicken and egg issue here, because there is always the range sensitivity about how far an electric vehicle will go. But they're starting to put in charging points at places. And if you have a vehicle that'll go 400 kilometres, that should be okay, because you've got to stop every 2 hours and have a break. Plug it into, pull into somewhere where you can get a cup of coffee, plug it in, recharge. And that's only a couple of, 200, 250 kilometres. So there are opportunities there to certainly extend beyond what to at least what a petrol-driven vehicle will go. But there's also the added advantage. You don't have to go to a petrol station. You can plug this into your power point at home, and if you got batteries at home, or if you've got solar cells, or if you've got some other form of renewable energy, you're pumping it from the sun. There's also the issue around alternatives to batteries. And you can have fuel cells which are highly efficient. They can run on hydrogen. So there are opportunities to have a variety of fuels which will avoid using the carbon-based fuels.
I think the trick's going to be in the future, maybe the service station, instead of having eventually all petrol houses, they'll have the spots where you can plug in and you can, you go in and get your $15 loaf of bread and whatever. But how are we going to make that? I think the trick is going to be to make that so that it is not we don't want to wait an hour. No one's going to wait an hour. If we can get it into 5 or 6 minutes to get a full charge, that would be key.
There are two ways. One is actually a battery replacement. So you slide the battery out, put a new one in. I don't think the petrol station will work, but a shopping centre will. You go to a shopping centre, plug it in, go and do your shopping, come back, unplug it. Those sorts of things will certainly work. I think petrol stations are going to have to come up with something different, but certainly replacing an entire battery, if you could do a quick change there, a bit like when you go to the petrol stations with your gas cylinder. You turn up with an empty gas cylinder, hand it over, grab a full one, off you go. Well, you sort of pay for it at the counter as well, but that would actually be better than trying to plug in and do a 5-minute recharge. 5-minute recharges are tough unless they come up with new batteries other than the ones we have, because they're a bit tough to try and charge in 5 minutes.
I think you might have solved the problem early. If we just have the batteries cheap enough that we can maybe sort of trade in our old one, get a new one, and the old one goes off to be rejigged somewhere else. I think we've solved the world's problems. There is no energy crisis. We've got to work on that. Great thoughts there, Professor John O'Connor. We'll catch you next time around. Electric cars, the future is now, as they say, at 2NURFM 103.7.